children, Sai Ram. Welcome to the part 1 of Geography revision of chapter 1, that is Environment. Children, before we proceed further, I want you to keep your notepads and pen ready so that you can jot down any important point that you feel is necessary to be written. So children, let us begin our class. In this session, we will learn about our environment, components of environment, our natural environment and ecosystem. Environment is a basic life support system that provides air to breathe, water to drink, food to eat and land to live. Students, the earth is the home of human beings and other living organisms. This is possible due to the presence of favorable living conditions which make up their environment. The term environment refers to all the external conditions in which an living organism lives. It comes from the French word environner, which means to surround. It is used to describe everything such as places, things, people, nature, etc. It also includes things created by human beings. So, in short, geography deals with the various components of the environment. It also studies the interrelationship between human beings and their environment on the basis of the origin and their environment. The geographical elements can be broadly classified into two groups: natural elements and man-made elements. Right, children? So, basically, the place, people, thing and nature that surround any living organism is called environment. It is a combination of natural environment as well as man-made environment. Students, look at this picture here. This is a picture of types of environment, right? So, as discussed earlier, there are two types of environment. One is natural environment and other is man-made environment. Now children, look carefully at both the pictures. What do you feel? What is the difference between the two? Natural environment consists of all the natural elements which are not made by human. The mountains, land, look at that place, the trees, right? All this is naturally made, natural, so it is called natural environment. Now, if you look at the other picture, you can see the bridge, right? You can see the bridge, you can see some buildings also. So, all this is made by man. It is not natural, right? It is not naturally made. It is a man-made thing, which is why it is called a man-made environment. Children, the natural environment comprises of land, water, air, plant and animal. Now there are two factors of natural environment: biotic and abiotic. So children, we have seen and understood that places, people, things and nature that surround any living organism is called environment. Environment is the combination of natural and human-made phenomena. While natural environment refers to both biotic and abiotic conditions existing on the earth. So children, what is this human environment reveals? It reveals the activities, creations and interaction among the human beings. So students, our environment is our surroundings, and it is because of this that we are able to survive on earth. Our environment could be natural or man-made. Students, in both the cases, the environment has two components, biotic and abiotic. All organisms, whether belonging to the plant or animal kingdom, interact with each other and are interdependent on one another. They also interact with their physical environment. The complex system of interaction between the organisms and their physical environment in a particular area is referred to as an ecosystem. Students, the size of the ecosystem varies greatly. It can be as large as the rainforest, grasslands, desert, lakes, rivers, or as small as a pond. A typical pond ecosystem contains fish, frogs, algae, water lilies, and other species that live in and around the pond. Students, look at this picture. As discussed previously, it's a picture of a pond, and it has several things like the frog, tadpoles, flies, water weeds, snail, fish, right? So all this together comprises of the ecosystem. Children, most of the ecosystems are complex and contain thousands of interacting species. These species interact with each other and also with the abiotic environment, right? So children, as discussed earlier, all living beings including plants, animals and human beings, which are biotic components, they depend on their immediate surroundings, which are abiotic components. In other words, both biotic and abiotic components are interdependent on each other. Biotic and abiotic components combine to create a system which is known as the ecosystem. An ecosystem is a community of living and non-living things which interact with each other and function as a unit, as a whole. Now children, when you step out of the house, what all do you see? You see your school, your surroundings, right? You see living things like people, birds, plants and insects, and you also see non-living things like soil, rocks, concrete roads, buildings, etc., isn't it? Now all those living things are biotic components and non-living things are abiotic components. An ecosystem contains living and non-living components. For example, a garden is an ecosystem which has plants, trees, rocks, birds, and people. In this ecosystem, all the living things and non-living things are continuously interacting with each other. Now, let us take one example. Okay. For example, say trees and plants need support of the soil to grow. On the other hand, trees provide shelter to birds, right? Ecosystem can be small or large. They can exist on a variety of scales. An example of small scale ecosystem is pond. As we have already discussed about it, right? That a pond is an ecosystem which has biotic components like fish, algae, weeds, frog, snail, etc. Isn't it? We also saw it in the diagram previously or in the picture previously. So, they interact with the abiotic components, that is water, soil, etc. Some examples of large scale ecosystem are mountains, deserts, etc. The earth has many different ecosystems and each one has its own climate, soil, plants and animals. Some are man-made while others are natural. For example, an aquarium is a man-made ecosystem while a pond is a natural ecosystem. The relation between the living organism as well as the relation between organisms and their surroundings form an ecosystem. In other words, it is a system which is formed by the physical and chemical interaction of living and non-living organisms. They are connected by the transfer of energy and materials. Ecosystem can be as huge as a large rainforest, grasslands, desert, ocean, mountains, or it can be as small as a lake or a pond. So children, now is the time for your favorite session, that is quiz time. So should we start? Let us look at the first question. Which is not a natural ecosystem? Desert, aquarium or forest? What is natural ecosystem, children? Natural means naturally made and not man-made. So what can be the possible answer? Yes, the answer is aquarium. Now the next question. Which is a human-made environment? What is human-made environment? Something that is made by human. Okay, environment which is formed by human. So what can be the answer? Is it mountain, sea or road? Yes children, the answer is road. Road is made by human, isn't it? The concrete roads that we use is made by humans. Which is a threat to environment? Growing plant, growing population or growing crops? What is a threat children? Plants that grows, population that is growing or the crops? Yes, the answer is growing population. So children, I end this part of the revision session of Geography Chapter 1. Children, I want you all to read the lesson thoroughly. It will help you to answer your paper. Please go through the revision lectures if needed again. You can also go through the previous explanation of the chapter. You can download the PDF through www.ncert.nic.in. You can download the PDF of this particular chapters from the NCERT website. Read it thoroughly and it will really help you to come up with the flying colors. See you in the next part. Till then, goodbye and keep learning.